Hi everyone, welcome to our podcast. I'm Varsha, and today we're diving into one of the most important questions that engineering leaders face. Should you build or should you buy? This debate has been around for decades, and with AI in the mix, the rules and stakes like completely changed. Joining me today is Abishek Shankar, who's the business leader for Codespell.ai, and he's been working closely with engineering leaders who make these exact decisions. Abhishek, welcome to our podcast, and so glad to have you. And before we dive in, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, Varsha. So I basically started out as an engineer at AWS Lake Formation, where I primarily focused on building scalable systems. I've always been passionate about building things that help teams move faster.
Mhm.
After AWS, I briefly explored a few startup ideas and kind of realized the importance of solving problems that customers actually face. And today, I lead Codespell.ai, where we focus on helping engineering teams automate their entire software development lifecycle using GenAI.
That's great to know. And yeah, my first question for you today is well, it's quite broad. How do you think that AI has shifted the way that engineering leaders make this decision of going after building or buying?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, right? I think AI has accelerated product cycles massively. In the past, teams used to ask us, can we save money by building this
Yeah.
in-house? But I think now the real question is going to be, can we afford the opportunity cost of building? I think AI tools also improve over time with retraining and vendor upgrades. So actually buying gives compounding returns. And I think the priority has definitely shifted over from cost optimization to getting higher speed, adaptability, and figuring out how to get the competitive edge.
True, that's true. The opportunity cost these days are like too high. And let's talk a little bit on the buy side. With the tech moving so fast, how do you think that teams should evaluate the maturity of AI products?
I think the main key over here is to look beyond just the model itself, right? You want
Mm-hmm.
to ask if the product is reliable or is it
Mm-hmm.
kind of just a demo wrapped in a UI? You want to see if it integrates well with real software development lifecycle workflows. You want to see if the vendor is iterating quickly, right? Do you see change logs, updates, and are they responsive to feedback you're providing them? And finally, and most critically, you want to see if you have the right abstraction layers so you're not locked in when models are evolving in the market. And I think that's how you kind of help separate a true product from just something that's an experiment.
That's fair, yeah. And moving on to the other side of the topic today. And what do you think would be the hidden cost when people go after building?
I think when we look at people who are passionate and interested to build, I think four main things come into mind.
Yeah.
Number one is model drift, right?
Mm-hmm.
As AI performance degrades, you need constant retraining.
True.
And then infrastructure, like hosting and scaling LLMs is expensive. You have the user experience and kind of internal tools often lack the polish that's needed for real world adoption. And finally, the opportunity cost, right? Every engineer that's working on tooling isn't working on building a project or developing features. And I guess finally, I mean, kind of missed this, but compliance and security also plays a huge role. And these are definitely harder to manage when you are creating these tools in-house.
It's true. That has been a real threat for a lot of people in their minds. And you should have seen a couple of teams adopt Codespell. So, what do you think is driving them towards going with the decision of buying rather than building?
So, I mean, briefly, let me touch upon what Codespell is, right? So, we are an
Yes.
end-to-end software development lifecycle solution that helps automate the entire workflow all the way from design to deployment. And one of the primary things we focus on is abstracting prompt engineering for the engineers, right? We
Mm-hmm.
want engineers to focus on things that truly matter and don't want them playing around with different prompts, seeing what
True.
works. We do all of that heavy lifting in the backend so that engineers can focus on building what truly matters. And teams realize that building with GenAI workflows isn't just simply about calling an LLM API, and that's where really CodeSpell comes in. We have pre-built integrations across the entire software development lifecycle. We have strict governance and audit trails, and also a
Mm-hmm.
continuous improvement loop. Right, we ship updates
Yeah.
constantly and frequently, and we take into account customer feedback regularly. And these days, customers, I mean, even prior to this, but nowadays more so with Gen AI, customers just want something that just works out of the box so they can focus on shipping software faster.
True, that's true. That's exactly what we hear in the industry as well. So yeah. And do you think when teams are adopting Codespell and engineers are using Codespell also, or any other software for that matter, do you think there's an emotional bias towards building rather than going after buying?
I think there's always an emotional bias towards building, and engineers